doing a best starter's guide on Mount and Blade Bannerlord 2. And for my starting skills, for, you know, setting up your childhood and whatnot, I always focus on putting up my crossbow as high as possible. I did put a bit of skills into like horseback riding, athletics, my two-handed for my start out, right? And I got one extra point. I'm gonna throw it somewhere quick. I like to put as many points in the crossbow so that I can actually use the first crossbow I find, because that is one of the things in this game that is quite difficult, is finding a crossbow you're actually able to use. So it's best to put points into your crossbow, and crossbow is like easily the best weapon in the game, really. You're gonna get a lot of kills through crossbow. The first thing I like to do is I like to come here. You're gonna want to talk to the guy that sets up the arena fights, and you're gonna want to do as many practice fights as you really want. This pauses time. There's the ability to earn 250 gold if you win the match, and you can do this as many times as you want. So you can sit here and boost all these skills until, you know, you're just an absolute amazing dude in this game. And yeah, get some money, build up your XP. It's kind of like you're cheating, but it's put in the game for you to do. So I suggest we do this a bunch of times, and I'm gonna do this a bunch of times. Now, for actually winning these fights, I try to stay in like the back, you know? Let these guys fight it out. There's 30 people in each tournament, and I always try to find a shield. Luckily, I started with a shield. If I didn't, I would stay in the back, wait for one of these guys to die that has a shield, and try and sneak in and take his shield. Because this shield is basically the only way you're actually going to win these tournaments. And the next thing we're actually going to do is more tournaments, but actual tournaments. We're going to come back to the tournament guy in the arena, and we're going to ask him, are there any tournaments in nearby towns? And we're going to go to all those. And we actually want to do these for the armors, but we're going to spend a bunch of money too. I also like to save before these tournaments. Once you've made a bunch of money and you're able to actually buy it, I needed 24,000 gold. I like to come to Ostakan and buy the silversmith. And it's because this is only, well, it's especially if you like to start out as the Empire, which I'm going to do. I'm probably start out as one of the further clans, so that they don't ever really attack this, and I won't have to worry about my income stopping or ceasing, right? And I've already gone broke, basically, buying this, but it's going to be worth it in the end, especially because silver is worth a lot. If you go over here, sure, if I can, I might have to go over, but if you look at the hearths of how much it's producing, it gives you a good idea of how much you might be making. The more hearths a town has, or a village, the better. Yeah, it has 628 hearths, and its militia protecting it is 70, so it has 70 guards protecting it. So I'm not going to have to worry about this or guard it or anything, and it should be making me a lot of money right away. It's also, the trade-bound settlement is Ostacan. So I know for sure that these resources are going straight to my workshop. And that way, I won't be losing money anymore. Workshop income predicted to 220. So every day, my troops are paid for instead of losing money. I really like doing these bandit hideout things because they're a good way to level up and gain your renown early on in the game. I like to get a two-handed weapon too, I was saying earlier, and I've already got one, and I'm gonna show you why I'm gonna go for it. Well, two-handed crossbow. I don't have a crossbow yet. And all my characters are basically archers. So I'll press F3, then F2, and then I'll fire at will, and then F1 and F3 to charge. Now I got a bunch of archers covering me, and I can just run in with a two-handed weapon.
I'll cut you down!
You're just traumatizing them. You can see in the bottom corner my two-handed just going around. Because I'm getting all the kills. Boom, another one. And I'm pretty sure the more kills you get, the more renown you also get from these as well. This also boosts your charm. And I really like having charm and being able to convince people of my will.
Die!
And I do this for the kids. This is for their experience. Don't want the kids to feel left out.
Yes! We won!
Okay. In this part of the game too, when you're not part of any faction, you're gonna want to, every time you run into these guys with this icon here, you're gonna want to talk to them. I am Odin, who are you? You're gonna want to go to this orange tile. And what that does is, yeah, Nuret's Folly. You need to talk to at least 10 of these people with that glowing icon to progress your main quest. And that has to do with that flag you're carrying around. So, yeah, every time you see one of them, just make sure you run and talk to them really quick, because when you actually want to do it, it can be hard to track them down. And you are on a time limit. There's 1,650 days to do it, so you do have lots of time. But I like to get it done as quick as possible. And in case anyone's wondering which troop, in my opinion, I think is the best, I would have to say Valandian Sharpshooter or the Sergeant Crossbowman, and here's a little clip on why I believe that. They are basically infantrymen and crossbowmen. Once you have actually talked to the 10 people, it's going to update your quest. See, like, I've talked to 10 people now, run that. It says meet with Arivos and meet with Estana, and I actually like to do this right away because it's you go and raid bandit hideouts and it helps your renown, so I'll go do that like immediately now that I have it. I want to talk about my second favorite troop is actually the Sturgeon Line Breakers, so I'm going to actually recruit a bunch of these Sturgeon recruits, upgrade them to the Warrior, then the Soldier, then the Linebacker. And I'll show you why in a bit. So I've joined the Southern Empire, and I've been doing like missions, like if you see these icons over like a lord's head or Ragia in this instance, I wanted to marry her daughter Ira, and I did about 2 missions for her, and it increased my relations with her. It increased my relations with her to like 30 or something, and then all of a sudden she sent me a request for her to marry her daughter to marry me. So that's a really good way to get a wife, is to do missions for the person that you want to, like, well, their daughter or whatever, right? Or yeah. All right. And now that I'm married, we need to get a castle, right? And I was looking at this one. I can't really say Joko. Can't really say that. But it turns out that the Southern Empire is already actually sieging Volcanic Castle. And this will actually work out perfect for me. I hope it's them besieging Volcanic Castle, actually. But if they are, this would work out perfectly for me, because I would get that one, and then if they take Amberella, I'm the closest one in the area, so that they would give me Amberella, Cerritos, and all these other castles too. So, and I am aligned with the Empire, so I want this area. I don't care about any of this or anything outside this area. I want all of this. Alright. Now that I do have a castle, we're going to want to go to manage castle. And I've set my wife to the governor. And that's because her orientation or whatever is also, she's of Empire origin, right? So that gives me a boost. Governor's culture +1 in loyalty, and heroic leader, I got a +1. Well strapped +0.5. And what I always set is I set my irrigation on daily defaults and I pull everything off. And that way, like, if you're not constructing anything, your daily defaults are active, right? And this increases your village growth. So if you go over to here, my hearths is what you want to look at. Now I'm getting a +1 every day to my hearths, and that increases everything. So if you have even if you have a workshop, like let's say I had a brewery, and this says trade bound settlement is Danustica, right? So if I had a brewery in Danustica, the higher my hearths on this trade settlement or this village, the higher my workshop is going to be doing as well as my castle. So the more hearths I have in these villages, the better my castle is going to be doing. So if you go back into here, my taxes are only 256. Once those hearths increase, you can have a tax income in the thousands. So in my opinion, irrigation is the most important thing. Once everything is stabilized and I'm making a ton of money off of this and construction is up and loyalty is up and everything's up, then I'll start actually building walls and everything else, right? And that's when you don't want to invest money into a settlement that isn't doing well, right? So you want to fix that. Make sure your settlement's doing well. Do that, and this is how you do that: is you activate your irrigation. Make sure no construction projects are going, and this is how this works. Gonna showcase the sturgeon line breaker next. Line breakers are pretty brutal. They do the two-handed axe as well over there. So move up to the fire. Charge. Let's watch our boy in action.
To hell with you!
I mean, obviously they're better if they do have some shield maidens with them or whatever. But yeah, they basically one-hit everybody. So if they're distracted on like somebody with a shield, he is weak. Boom, boom. Yeah. With that, I'm going to end the video. Please like and subscribe to help support my channel and me and Benita. I know my mic is crap and so is my computer. I hope everybody got some use out of the video and or enjoyed it. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good one. Happy holidays.